All right. I'm just waiting for it. It's 3 more minutes, right? Okay, so I'm sharing it. There we go.
No, it's not going to.
So right now I'm charging, well, I'm charging down so we can stay up.
It's all good. It's all good.
So I can just plug it into. Oh my, that's fine.
That's what's happening.
Ready, ready.
Ready, ready.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Avery, but I go by Soavecito, and this is episode 31 of Whispers of Horror. And we got a first time director, and I'm super excited to talk to both of them. So we have Angel, who is a scriptwriter, director for Dark Cabin Production, as well as his wife Daniela. And I'm excited to have you both here. Hi, guys.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
How are you
It's
guys
a
doing
pleasure.
today?
Doing
Very
well.
good. Very
Doing
good.
well.
Well, again, I just want to say thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to be a part of Whispers of Horror. You guys will be the first movie production that I've interviewed, and I'm super excited about doing this. So I got a few questions to get started before we get into the film that you guys are working on. Um, if we can, the question I'm going to ask is that you can both answer. So the number one question I want to ask is like, how did you guys get into filmmaking and film directing? Like, so what is your background in this field?
Wait, first.
Okay. Um. Hi. So I've been acting since I was 14. I started with musicals and plays, and then that showed me that acting was the thing. But how did you get from point A to point B? Because film and TV is very different. So I got into background work and being on set in New York City as well as the Hudson Valley, and got to do Pretty Little Liars, The Sex Lives of College Girls, Poker Face, and just those were just like amazing experiences doing background and stand-in work and networking with a lot of other people who were doing background work, some actors as well as some crew members. And it was when I got to just be on those TV and film sets that I found like my new home And that was just amazing. But so I auditioned for a while and just did that for a while, but didn't really book anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think that at some point, Angel and I both figured um, we wanted to make something, and in my opinion, production just makes the business go round. Like, you have to make your own work. You can't wait for an opportunity to come find you.
I get
So
that.
we created the opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm very pleased with the results so far. So I'm excited to see where we can continue going with this.
Nice, nice. How about you,
And
Angel?
for myself, I started off as a technician, I think it was like 2006. And after a couple of years, the recession happened. I started contracting um, with different companies.
Mm-hmm.
One of them being NBC Universal and in A&E Networks. And with A&E Networks, that was the first time I had the opportunity not only to be a technician, but I was also post editing, assisting post editing with a film, TV show. What was it? Bates Motel. So
Okay.
that actually got me oh, hooked on post editing and anything that had to do with film.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a little short lived. It was a contract, so I couldn't really continue with them. But past that point, I've been trying to find my way back in, uh, and so I ended up years later. I thought that wasn't in the cards for me until I met my wife, and so she shared her desires of being an actress and continue moving forward. And I started doing my research to get her in the door. And while that was happening, I just started falling in love with it again. Just falling in love with the industry, falling in love with the people. And after 3, 4 years of uh, connecting with everyone, eventually, yeah, she just came up to me. I was actually complaining about a movie uh, being not that scary and being cliche,
Mm-hmm.
and she basically said, "So why don't you make a movie?" And it was like and she was like, you know the beats, you know what makes horror. You've been watching horror for years, and why don't you make one? So I was like, challenge accepted. So So I spent an entire year writing a script, making sure everything was to par. And once we finished the script, and believe it was December, no, on March 1st and
Mm-hmm.
May 1st, we ended up creating our LLC, getting ready to get it up and running. And yeah, that's where we are now. We are in the process of um, we created a short. We have a trailer for it,
Mm-hmm.
and we are going to start raising up funds to get to do our feature film.
Nice, nice. As you guys did mention, you guys are together. How do you separate your relationship between the business aspect of making a film?
Oh, how to separate?
That's a good question.
That is a
I'm
good
not gonna
question.
lie. I looked like I just thought of it. Like I'm very spontaneous, so like I have a whole list
Yeah.
of questions, and I'm like, screw that. I don't need that.
So,
Yeah, go with the flow. It's all
Hundred
good.
percent.
You
That's how
answer
it is.
first.
uh, well, it's
Oh,
funny
oh no!
because
You put all the pressure on him.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's funny because we kind of set our roles. Same with any business. You set your roles, your job descriptions. This is what we do.
Hmm.
Um, so in order, so while we're doing that, we know what to do, what not to do, and how not to go past that boundary.
Sure.
And so to not overspeak to each other, and I'm boss, no, I'm boss, and do all this stuff. But on top of that, we've I think we just learned how to work well together. She knows when I'm reaching my limit,
Mhm.
as well as vice versa. I know when she's reaching her limits. So when it comes to entrepreneurship, we don't turn off.
Sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But but at the same time, we know when she's in need or when I'm in need. That's when we're like, okay, put the business to the side. We need to take care of each other.
Sure.
And but we are. I feel like we just work well together.
Well, I think we have a leg up on other people who aren't married, I guess, because
Yeah.
we have had the time to know each other and we know our ups and our downs. Um, yeah, I mean, we know our ups and our downs. Where Angel falls short, I help him. Where I fall short, he helps me. And I think on my part, I think I just respect him so much. Um, he's just so good at what he does. Like, really, he is just so talented and so smart. And I think that in the process of rewriting the script, him expressing his vision, um, to the point where we actually filmed something, I've just seen him unravel. Like, it's just been an unraveling of like his true potential.
Mm-hmm.
And the more that I see that, the more I say, oh, I need to support this. I want to support this. Like, and I just don't want to ever get in the way of it. Like, it's just amazing to see someone grow. And, you know, sometimes I get needy. I'm a needy wife sometimes, you know, so need a little love here and there. But, you know, I just don't, I can't pull him away from his relationship with DaVinci Resolve and his laptop and
Mm-hmm.
like getting the film together, because that is just, it's just amazing, honestly. It's a project that's bigger than the both of us, honestly. And it matters to not only us, but the people who are a part of it, the people who have been watching. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I just respect him so much, and I'm here to support him. And I think he's so professional too. And I
Yeah.
think I just love the business so much. I've gotten more and more acquainted with the business of filmmaking, or you know, just showbiz. That I want to be professional. I want to be as professional as I can be. So we're just very good at compartmentalizing, honestly.
Okay.
The both of us.
Uh,
Yeah.
Sorry to put you guys on the spot like that. I think
That
it's
was a great question.
No, I
That
like
was a
that.
worthy
thank
question.
you. That like I said, just this is why I love having conversations and doing live podcasts because you know a lot of people have like obviously I have my notes and my questions already on the docket, but just learning more information about you guys, I can think of a question and then I felt like that would go with the flow of it. So yeah, that's just something that you know I'm
Yeah, ask
slowly trying to get
away.
better at, and
We're not shy.
yeah, 100%. You know, like so you guys obviously like I can tell that you guys speak very highly of each other, and it's a beautiful thing to watch because like you said, you have a leg up against other people because you guys are married. But do you feel that this project has brought you guys even closer, knowing that you guys not only are working on other things, but you're working together on this thing that you both are passionate about?
Well,
Yeah.
I definitely wanted to share that. Yes, definitely yes, because um, this script is actually my greatest fear realized.
Okay.
So in order to write this script, it actually was traumatizing for me. It brought back
Mm-hmm.
memories of horrors of my past, and in the midst of that, I became extremely vulnerable.
Yeah.
Extremely vulnerable. I had nightmares. I like literally this film literally gave me nightmares.
Yeah.
And in the midst of all that, she saw me. She saw me in a very vulnerable state, and instead of lashing out as like be a man, she was there with me. She consoled me, and she got to learn more about a past that I actually often don't speak of. I rarely speak of. So she started learning more about me in the process of making this film. So did it bring us closer? It definitely did. In my side, it showed me that I can trust her even with the darkest part of me.
I think that's a
And
beautiful thing. I really do. Like I there's a model that or a mantra that I follow. It's like the three faces. You know, it's the face that you like. Everybody has three faces. So the first face
yep.
is the face that you show everybody. You know, the second face is the face that you show your family and friends, and then there's the third face that only the only person that is shown that is yourself. Because if you give that third face, you lose who you are. Like there's things that I'm gonna die to the grave, and I will never tell a soul, and I'm sure that everybody
Mm-hmm.
has that. But like you said,
Yeah.
like you trust your partner enough to reveal some of the dark secrets that you have is a beautiful thing. So I shout out to you both. You know, you guys look great together. So which makes me more excited about the
Thank you.
film because like you know if you guys are both passionate, it's gonna come out in your artwork. So like I said, I look forward to it when it fully drops. This is my favorite question to ask. And I ask all my guests because I'm always curious to see what they say. When you hear the word horror, like, what is your uh, I don't even know if I want to say ideology. Like, what is your perspective when you hear the word horror? Like, what is your definition to you?
You looking at me because it's my turn?
Yeah.
I love that question.
Thank
I didn't know that horror was such a necessary genre until I met Angel, and just he got me watching a lot of horror.
you.
So my definition, I guess I would say, I think for me the big thing about horror is just the contrast between what's like light and dark, and the parts that we don't know and how deep that rabbit hole goes, and like horror just explores that. It gives you that chance to explore it. I think that's the best way I can put it.
Yeah, 100%. There's no right answer to this. It's like your perspective. Like you're like when you hear that, like it's like when you're at therapy and they're holding up a picture. You know, like what is the first thing that comes to your mind and all that stuff. So like again, this is open ended. This is why I love this question because I've gotten numerous answers and it honestly gives me goosebumps listening to other people's
Yeah,
perspective.
it's so thought provoking, the horror genre. But go,
Yeah.
your turn.
Well, horror for me, well, not horror. What was the question again?
No, no
I don't
worries, no
want
worries. So the question is like when you hear the word horror, like what is your perspective or like what is your definition of that word horror?
to for horror. Um, Honestly, it is the best way I can describe it is the condition of the human heart.
Mm,
It's the when it comes to horror, I've seen such beauty in this world,
sure.
and
Um,
as simple as that is, it is also complex because you can have something as lovely as wind breezing through and feeling refreshed to a hurricane tearing down a house. And when it comes to it, I feel like it is the perspective of the human, it's not just the elements of the world, but I feel like horror is also the perspective of the human heart.
Mm,
Is some people will see
mm,
something as innocent as like a child, while someone will see the same thing and will see something brutish or
yeah.
perverse or evil.
Okay.
right.
And so when it comes to horror, it's we were making fun of Midsummer. We love Midsummer, but
Oh my god.
we love
Don't hate me.
Midsummer.
Do not hate me. I think that's one of the worst films I've ever seen, and we could get into it. I cannot stand
I
Midsummer.
think he agrees
I think
actually.
I
All
think
right.
it's like I want to take it behind the shed and shoot it twice. Like it's like I don't understand. Like I can't fathom why people like that movie. And Hereditary is the other movie I can't stand. And again, like people can hate me for it, but I have my own type of taste. But we could get
No,
into it if you want.
Right, right.
but it's exactly that because I'm used to Michael. I'm
Hmm.
used to Freddy. I'm used to Jason. I'm
Sure.
used to Poltergeist and all these different things from back in the days.
Hmm.
So when I saw Hereditary, it was almost like a comedy to me. It
Same.
was
Yeah,
it was,
I get the
and
same feeling.
but
Yeah, they
but
don't
I
make
understood what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
Um he was trying to bring horror to something that was normal to them by bringing outsiders in, and it was this interesting perspective. But again, it goes back to the condition of the heart. To them, it's normal and it's innocent.
But to others, it's
To
something
the
different.
people, it's normal, it's innocent. They just um, stay quiet. Don't want to spoil this here, but yeah, it's I find it a humorous movie. We make fun of it some from time to time, but a lot of times.
Lately, we've been making fun of it.
But when it comes to but when it comes to the way people perceive horror, um, you see it in the media where with all the fear tactics and all the little things they'll say one word and everyone's like, "Oh my God, the
Yeah.
world's ending."
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
it's it's to utilize that, not to manipulate. And what we or sorry, I'm just going a little bit further off. I'm not sure
It's
if I'm
No,
okay.
answering
no,
your
Keep
no,
question,
going.
no. You're good. You're good.
but my whole perspective of horror is I feel like horror in a film in a controlled environment not only entertains, but I also feel like we can help someone face their own demons
Mm,
in a controlled environment.
okay.
Have them sit in front of what, like, from example, have you ever heard of the, I think it was called arachnophobia?
Yeah.
Arachnophobic
Yeah.
or something
Fear
like
of
that? It was like
spiders.
way back when.
Hmm.
Uh, I was terrified of spiders.
Yeah.
Terrified of spiders, including alien freaks and tarantulas.
Oh, such a great movie.
Like,
Eight-legged freaks.
I hated every minute of it.
Okay, I have
But
respect for
now I
that.
can watch it.
Yeah.
It's like I hated every minute of it, but I watched it a few times, and I got used to seeing spiders and understanding this is an over dramatized version of it. Now, when a spider walks in my house, I'm not pale face on the floor foaming from like not
Oh,
having a
jeez.
seizure.
Okay.
I can actually see it. I'm like, okay, I like you have a purpose, and I can be okay with it
I'm not okay.
now.
I respect it.
I
Now,
don't share that perspective.
now, honestly, both of your answers are quite complex, and like I said, I do appreciate you guys like really putting some thought into that question. Like, so I'm gonna tell you guys my perspective. So my perspective
Sure.
for horror is pushing the boundaries that make people uncomfortable, uneasy. There's two things that well, mammals and creatures like us experience. It's two words: fight or flight. Are you the
Yeah.
prey or are you preyed upon? Oh no, are you prey or you're the hunter? No, predator. Sorry, predator versus prey. Are you the prey or you're the predator? And I love horror. So when I hear horror, it's just like pushing those boundaries of like you can see what a person like us can push those boundaries and see what creativity or like craziness a person can do to another human being
Mhm.
like the feeling of
Yeah.
like the hairs on your neck standing up, that your eyes dilate, like your palms are sweaty, like that flight mode or that fight mode is just what drives me to make content, and just like it's better than any drug. Like this is like people go like they're thrill seekers, that people go on like roller coasters. No, I could watch a scary movie and that's enough dopamine and just like just the heart rate, heart rate going is just enough for me to get through. I don't know the day. Like it's like my fix. But
Yeah.
Mhm.
but honestly, it's just like really like going back to it. It's really you realize during those scary moments what kind of person you are. You're either a person that is gonna fight, or the person that's gonna flee for another day. Like, and you in every situation is different. Like my biggest fear is open ocean. So like I'm gonna like there's nothing I could do about it. Like I'm gonna just accept my fate. But like somebody fighting somebody for my life might be a different thing where I will fight to the day like to death. So like just realizing which mode you are for each scenario is what I think horror is, and de- sorry, depictates. Sometimes I can't say certain words, but honestly, it figures out which version you are depending on the scenario. So
Yeah.
that's just a little thing about that.
Yeah.
That was very
It's
interesting.
it's funny you say that because there was this movie. I think it's called Darkest Hour.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
I've seen that.
and it's and in that moment after the monsters appear, everyone's dying, everything happens, and in the very beginning, uh, one of the one of the protagonists jumps in fear and locks the door, and his girlfriend's on the other side and gets taken.
Mm-hmm.
So they over here blaming him. Oh, you killed her. Da, da, da. And he says basically that. And he says, I wanted to be stronger, but I didn't really know that in that moment I was going to cower.
Mm.
And he
Wow.
was like, I
That's what it
want to
is.
be stronger. And he was breaking down. He just
Yeah.
lost his girlfriend. But it's exactly that, the fight or flight. You don't know who you are until stuff like that would actually happen.
Yeah.
You're
Actually,
truly under.
yeah.
Oop,
No, no, good.
sorry, I was gonna say like yeah, under pressure, our truest colors will always come out. I guess so. Just
100%.
yeah, what you really would do in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me think of Wrong Turn because in Wrong Turn, I think it was 2021. I haven't seen the original one, but
Mm-hmm.
I saw the more recent one, and the main female protagonist, and then her boyfriend or the guy who was her boyfriend, she decides to kind of fight the system that she wound up in, and her boyfriend ends up accepting it.
Yeah.
Like they're both found in the same situation, but they respond differently to what is going on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, in short, that's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's two films, and then I want to talk about your film. There's two films that come to mind when I think about what is the best representation of horror. Saw. Like Saw is they put you to your limit to realize are you
Yeah.
accepting the fate or you're gonna fight for your life. That's the perfect
Uh,
perfect
Mm-hmm.
representation of horror to me. Saw is probably the top five favorite movie of all time for that reason.
Yeah.
The other movie is You're Next. I don't know if you've seen it with the masks of the people.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, okay. I'm
I
not
haven't
gonna even
seen it
tell. So I'm not gonna even.
yeah,
So,
there.
ladies and gentlemen, if you've seen that movie, you understand where I'm coming from. I need you guys. This is your homework. Watch the movie You're Next. You will
Got it.
understand
Got
what my
it.
mindset is from that movie. Yeah. So okay. So let's get into your film a little bit. So
Yes.
Cabin Break is the name of your film.
Mm-hmm.
Explores the disturbing themes of high inflation and food scarcity, leading to cannibalism. What inspired you to incorporate these social issues into your horror narrative?
Well, it's funny because exactly what we just finished talking about
Yeah.
is how extreme we don't know what a person would do when they're faced in these situations.
Hmm.
And honestly, there was one moment that inspired me was in I believe it was the fourth season or the second, fourth or fifth season of Walking Dead,
Hmm.
and there was it was I believe it was the
Terminus.
Terminus. Yes, yep. And after they left Terminus, after that whole thing happened, there was a moment where they caught up.
Hmm.
And there's one moment where they captured one of the guys. And he's leaning over and he's talking to him. And he was like, we were never really like this. He was like, I was a farmer. It was like we were. It was like we weren't doing this, but we had to survive.
Yeah.
And there was a moment where he was trying to justify why he's doing what he's doing, and in the midst of that, he was basically saying, if if the if the if the mama bear dies, the cub dies. But if the cub dies, the mama bear can always have another cub.
Mm-hmm.
He said, and he was like trying to explain there's a way to survive that's beyond our social norms.
Okay.
And so, now when it comes to these social economic situations, there was a lot of fear this year when it came to the food disparity, especially with a lot of farms shutting down. They had to get rid of a lot of the cows and a lot of the livestock, and we're still not fully there.
Yeah.
But yeah, and there are some states that are more fortunate than others.
Sure.
But I started thinking in the midst of us creating this, what would people actually go through it when there's no food? Like when there's no food, would they start going savagery? Would we start going over to the next day and started like slaughtering people or stealing or looting? And I thought about modern day cannibals, not just like vicious zombie like eating, but very delicate.
Mm-hmm.
It's normal. It's like same way it's like I identify as this is our community. This is what we do. It's such a normal thing, and I just imagine like how mind blowing that would be if someone was just like, yeah, this is what we do. You want to join us? No? Okay, your food.
Yeah, no, it's pushing the boundaries, and I appreciate that about that. Can I ask, like, how long have you been working on this film?
Well, the script was rewritten way too many times. It was it
Whoa.
ended up being about a year and a half for the script alone.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the script alone, and once we had the script and the funding for the short, it was fairly quickly.
Okay.
It was because we already knew who we wanted to work with. We already knew the cameraman showed up and was like, "You're the guy." It's just like everything just started coming together after that. But it took about for the script alone, it took about a year and a half, and we are still in the process of preparing the short.
Sure. Sure.
So, yep.
Um, what were some of the highlights and lowlights that you guys faced during like production, writing the script, just overall working on the film?
Well, I know Angel's got a lot of answers to that question. Well, let's think. Lowlights. Um, it was a lot. It took patience.
Okay.
It took time and endurance, and I never really anticipated the fact that it would have to be rewritten so many times. Or like, I also did feel like maybe in a way it felt like we're rewriting this so many times, like at some point we probably have to settle on something.
Yeah.
But then again, at the same time, it just kind of felt like it all eventually found itself as all the other pieces were coming into play. And once we kind of had all of it, all the pieces just kind of got married, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So even to the very end, Angel rewrote what we actually shot in the last, like the night before or something, two nights before, because we were having a problem with the location, and some inconveniences there where we couldn't exactly move forward with one location, so we had to figure out another location. We couldn't move forward with this location. Okay, now we have to figure out another location. We couldn't move forward with this DP. Where's the DP? Like, we need a DP. We try to find a sound guy, and then we get scammed,
Can
and
you
then,
just tell our viewers like what is DP?
Director of photography. So the person who records the film.
Yes. So, yeah, it's they are the it's the camera guy,
Okay.
but it's not just being a director of photography. They are in charge of lighting. They're in charge of the gaffer. They're like everything else that that is more crew related.
Mm-hmm.
They're in charge of that while the director is focusing on the actual story and getting the actors involved. So it's technically in every set there technically are two directors,
Sure.
one for the film and one for the crew.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So
Um.
I mean, I think.
Mhm.
Oops, sorry.
No. No. Go ahead. Continue.
Yeah, I mean, I think in short, that would sum up what I think of the lowlights. But apart from that, I mean, I loved seeing Angel unravel in the process of creating this film, down to the wire, down to the last moments
Mm-hmm.
when he was rewriting the script, and he was just finding his zone, and it just almost felt like new things were coming out of him. He was discovering more parts of himself as he was discovering more parts of the film, and it's like that's something that is just you can't put a price on it. Like, it's just great. um, and then getting the chance to work with our actors. It felt like we got on set, and it just felt like I love what my cinematic session instructor basically says. He says, we're just 6-year-olds in a sandbox, and it just felt like play.
Mm-hmm.
It just felt almost effortless. It felt easy, and I think that's exactly what it's supposed to feel like when you have just great, competent people on your set. Um, and yeah, so those were some highlights. Angel was great. He adapts well to situations. So even when we didn't have a sound guy, it made him very upset. But him along with one of our actors found a solution.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just great. So I would say those are some of my highlights, in my opinion.
To add on really quick about the sound guy. So we what happened was we were desperate to find someone that we got catfished.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
so we got catfished. So on the day, we gave him the money, waiting for them to show up, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm on my way." I was like, "All right, great. He's on his way," and I'm letting everyone know he's on his way. And part of me was like, "Check on him real quick." And I go check on him. I go on Facebook, and he blocked me. He blocked me on Facebook. He blocked me on all social media. He hid from me completely. And once I realized that happened, um, couple of the actors literally saw my face turn pale
Mm.
and then bloodshot red. And it was like, relax. And it was like,
Jesus.
we gotta find a situation. And one of them had a pair of DJI lavaliers. I was like, all right, we can work this. And yeah, we did it. It definitely delayed the process, but we did it, and it's good.
I mean, nothing beats the fact that we actually did it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, after everything, all things considered, nothing beats the fact that we actually created something together. And yeah, simple as that.
Yeah, all right, I totally get that. This is kind of piggybacking off that question. During those moments when you feel like things just feel like it keeps going wrong, like just you keep running into problems and problems, like how do you overcome that adversity without getting to that point where you're like, we're done with this project, like I don't want to continue? Like, how do you not give up when you have multiple hurdles consecutively?
Well, it's funny. It's funny you say that because for me is a two-parter, and it's the quick and easy answer is know your why.
Okay.
But but for me personally, it's one. I remind myself that while everything is happening and this person is not who they say they are, that person pulls away money, all this thing starts happening, whatever. Um, and I constantly remind myself this is not life vendetta against me.
It's not a personal
It's not a
attack.
personal attack. So I first remind myself it's not personal.
Mm-hmm.
So don't take it personal. And the second part is it's it's not about you.
Yeah.
Like because at this point when I first started writing it, I didn't fully understand. All I wanted to do was make a film for my wife to be in. It's like, hey guys, she's in the film. But then after a while, people started seeing it, and people started getting involved, and it started growing from, oh, I'm making a film for my wife, to I'm making my film for my wife and my friend, and then my wife, my friend, and the DP, my wife, my friend, and the producer, my wife, and after a while, I was like, wow, film media is a collaborative art,
Yeah.
and it's not about me, and it's about everyone. Everyone needs to get paid. Everyone needs a job, a life. So I was like, we're all in the same boat right now.
Yeah.
So understanding that, I knew I couldn't give up. I didn't even have the luxury to give up anymore. There was too many people that relied on this and relied on us, and too too much at stake to say, you know what, I don't even want to write this anymore. Just toss it to the wind.
I get that.
And so from there, yeah, I just, so to everyone who's watching, this is for you guys. We love you guys, and we're gonna continue.
I think for me, it's so funny. You said know your why. I feel like I want to say know your team in a way and know yourself, because I think I remember when we realized the sound guy was not legitimate. One of the things I said to Angel was like, because he was upset, I was like, it's okay, because we're gonna find a solution, and like that's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, period.
Mm-hmm.
We've gotten as far as we've gotten to this point because we adapt and we find solutions. That's what we do, and we keep moving forward. That's who we are.
Mm-hmm.
And when that is so ingrained in your team, what could stop you? Nothing was gonna stop us. Like, that's coming from me. Nothing was gonna stop us. No.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah. So I think also, once again, team. If we only relied on our perspective and our like whatever our perspective of what was going on, we would never be able to see outside of that. So I think that I've helped Angel see outside of his struggles, and he's helped me see outside of my struggles.
Mm-hmm.
And as we continue to collaborate with our actors and our producers and whoever else is, just on our team, that's just what we do. And there is no other option other than let's adjust, let's find a solution. We'll try again tomorrow if we have to, but we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
And that's a fantastic answer. I love that. I love that absolutely. Um, there was one question I wanted to ask, and it just went away on my computer. So give me 1 second. Oh, perfect. We're gonna go off the script again. um, when this film is finished and everything like that, what is the message that you want like a person that is seeing it for the first time to know? Like, what is your vision or message you want them to know after watching the film to its completion?
What's the message? Uh,
Unless I'm
all right.
asking the hard questions. You decided to
Yeah,
come on
asking the
Yeah,
hard
whispers.
you're asking good questions. Good
Now I'm
questions.
taking it personal. But
No.
no. No,
That's a good question.
yeah, that's a good question. Well, it's really, it's really, that one's a little more personal.
No, no. Honestly, answer like
Yeah,
if you don't
yeah.
have to answer it. You can
No, no,
even
no, no, no. No,
can you
I'll
give me a
answer it. I'm
PR
just like,
answer.
yeah,
You could keep
yeah. I
it
don't have
as
a PR answer.
simple or as
Yeah,
broad as
No,
you
but
100%. Like
um, I this is one. The first thing is I wanted to share myself.
sure,
Like remember I mentioned earlier, this is my greatest fear realized.
sure.
So when it comes to the film, it's like, yes, this is what I'm terrified of. But but when it comes to the film itself, is um, is what great lengths are you willing to do to survive? And either or, protagonist or antagonist, is the fight or flight mindset. Well, like when you're faced with a situation, what are you gonna do?
Okay.
And so that's really it.
Sure.
Um, but personally, this is like um,
A lot for you.
a little piece of me.
Sure.
Yeah.
I get that.
So
I get
yes.
that. What about
I
you?
think this is like the most challenging question for me, but I think that um, I think the one thing that comes to mind for me um, is never let your guard down because sometimes you just don't really know people sometimes. So that's
Mm,
very interesting. I guess when I think about my character and the whole relationship with the antagonists, and just the experience we had when we were making it, that would be a little bit of an answer there. But even then, I mean, I've read this script over and over as it's changed, and then Angels edited it, and I've just been able to like relive it, and it's just got layers,
yeah.
and I can't remember them all. Like they're just, it's so layered, and I really just hope that people get what they get from it, if that makes sense.
100. I
Like
agree.
leave it
Now
up to
that's a
the
PR.
audience to
Yeah.
imagine.
Now
Make
that's
them
a
come
PR
up with their
answer.
own yeah like, come up with their own idea of what the film is about. So yeah, I listen, I mess with it. I kind of want to speak a little bit more on your like your acting and everything like that, like knowing the role of the character. How do you put like how what is some of your routines and to prepare for that role?
I've realized that I think that there is no, I have a belief that there's no possible way to fully kind of like have it all together for like a certain role
Mm,
or a certain moment. Like prep is just whatever happens when you actually have time every day. Like if every day I get the chance to play, if that makes sense. Every day
yeah.
I get the chance to play. When I watch a movie, I get to kind of play around with the lines I hear, or play around with my own imagination of the character. I can take that character and I'll start saying my own things, like sort of improving, if that makes sense.
Sure.
But you know, it's just like that's where the prep lives. It lives in the play that happens prior, and just having very specific ideas of what your character thinks and believes is really helpful for me.
Okay.
And just sort of kind of improving my way into character in the moment when you're actually ready to record something. I feel like I have to start speaking as the character a little bit,
Yeah.
and thinking as the character to bring like life to the moment. So then when we say action, it's there.
Mhm.
But it's all about play.
Yeah, she definitely locks herself away and talks to herself for hours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm starting to do that more.
she
I
frightened
think
me
that's
one
cool.
time because I went to talk to her and she was actually in character. So I was actually talking to the character. I was like, okay. So
Angel says I have multiple personalities.
Hey, then
I
you're
already,
perfect for
I already.
acting. Then I think that's awesome. I think that's awesome.
Mhm.
So I got a couple more questions. Like before we wrap up, and then we're gonna unveil this trailer. What
Mhm.
advice? This for both of you guys. Like, what advice would you give to aspiring filmmakers or writers or actors who want to break into this genre or this workspace?
Well, when it comes to it, it's funny because I keep on hearing the same routine, the same answers. It's like if you got a camera, just shoot it. If you got a camera on your phone, just shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's that is partially true. Yes, if you do have a camera, you can. If you have a camera and you have a story, yes, go ahead and start shooting. But get a team. Find your
Yeah.
group. Find your people that have the same focus, same goal, same passion, and grow with each other. And grow with each other. It does wonders when you get your team.
Okay.
The same with if you look at John Carpenter making his first movie, Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
He got his team together, and ever since then, he kept stood with his team, movie after movie after movie. And same with Wes Craven, got his team. It's you can do this on your own, but it won't be as fluid
Yeah. Productive
if you
also.
do it
Yeah.
on your own. You can't be your own island. You can't have an entire major studios like style of work and imagery if you're just one person.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
Team is
yes,
everything.
cameras to have a good camera, you have your phone, you can do it on your phone. To have a good microphone, you can get a Rode mic or anything like just to get started. But there's nothing more valuable than to actually have a team with the same mindset and being able to work together.
Okay. How about yourself?
Um, I believe that, once again, I said it earlier, you shouldn't wait for an opportunity to find you. You have to be prepared, and sort of just do the work. And eventually, when the opportunity comes, you're kind of ready. And it's also spontaneous, though, at the same time, which is interesting. I think that if you want to be an actor, I think at first I felt like, I think it was very cool when I just started doing self tapes at home and just recording myself and putting it on the internet. But now I go even further and I say, as an actor, you don't even need a camera right here in front of you sometimes. You can just play in your room and talk and think and observe, and in your everyday life observe people and think about why do they say what they say, why do they do what they do, and then let it become you a little bit. Say what they say and ponder that thought. Do what they do and ponder it, because anytime you do something or say something that you're not used to doing, it's like you enter a different space.
Mm.
You enter a different sphere that is so far from yourself. And it gives you new perspective. I really believe that. So if you're an actor, don't wait. Um, you can put yourself in front of a camera, and that's good, but also just don't be afraid to play in your room, and then don't be afraid to play in front of your family, in front of your friends. I think play is just the core of what it is, and I think that's what I'm trying to push myself to do every day as an actor. Um, and from the production angle of it, yeah, find your team. Find your team. Don't give up because it's a long, patient process. Um, and yeah, know it's going to be worth it because in the end, after you've invested all that time, maybe some money, whatever else, you're going to feel really good that you made something, period.
Awesome, awesome. I think that's great advice for anybody who listens. Yeah, I think that's awesome. So I got two more questions. One, how do I get that T-shirt? I need one. I'm gonna need y'all to slide one through. Yeah, I'm gonna need one of those. So,
Gotcha.
so we're gonna.
It's funny.
So that's my
It's funny you say
one of
that.
my questions.
Yeah.
And my final question before we unveil this trailer is there anything else you guys want to tell our viewers? Like any teasers, anything? The floor is yours, basically. Is there anything that you want to bring up to our viewers?
Well, the first thing about the T-shirt, we are opening up our store soon, so we will have that, including a couple of the merch. Um, and at the same time, we are opening up a crowdfund to be able to get the film up and running. So the T-shirt will also be included in that. Um, but any last words? Wait, why did I say it that way? Well, all I can say is this was a journey, and like I said many times, I wanted to give up. So my message for everyone is, if you guys are planning to make a feature, make a short, make a music video, whatever, it's going to be work. It's not just play. It's going to be a lot of work. So if you really want it, stick with it.
Yeah.
As much as you want to, if you want to give up, really stick with it. Hold on to your why. I had way too many sleepless nights.
Yeah.
But in the end, it's worth it. If you really love what you're doing, it's worth it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna switch over to the next scene. You guys might not be able to see it, but I'm gonna unveil the trailer to our ladies and gentlemen, and yeah, and then we'll wrap up the show. All right, so this is the trailer, ladies and gentlemen, for Cabin Break.
I am gonna enjoy having you.
I hope you're hungry. I made a mess of food.
Butch, where's the bathroom?
It is right down the hall and to your left, sweetie.
So can you still shoot with that hand?
I can. Whoa.
You boys and your guns.
What the fuck is going on?
I always tend to prefer the dark meat. Why? Maybe it's the melanin. Makes it taste better. Hunter, take Lucas to be prepped. And after, bring Janice to it.
Oh, and honey, be careful with her. She's delicate. So I'm so glad you could make it. Come on in.
Awesome. I just want to thank you guys so much for being on part of Whispers of Horror. Like, this is such a treat, and I hope you guys definitely come back. You know, when you guys are further along with your film, and yeah, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you both.
Well, thank you for having us, and we're looking forward to doing this again someday.
Absolutely.
Thank you for
Absolutely.
having us.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of episode 31 of Whispers of Horrors. Make sure you follow all us on all platforms and follow Angel and all the I'm sorry, I blanked on it. All the productions things. The links are gonna be in the description.